Hello, hello. Welcome back or welcome to Soul Whispers with Michelle. This is a soul led message, which means if it doesn't resonate deep inside, leave it for the soul that it's meant to find. May love hold you, may truth guide you, and may you be released from whatever isn't yours to carry. And so it is. All right, we're going to jump into this message. I will say this deck that I was pulled to use is a bit heavier of a deck. Interesting. I just noticed that there's other cards. That's super interesting. That there are other tarot cards that are actually mixed in with this deck. Interesting. Which means I haven't been playing with the full deck of cards. Okay, that just cracks me up a bit. Okay, back to the message. Maybe we needed some of this humor because this is, like I said, kind of a heavier deck. So let's jump right in and just see, what does your soul want you to focus on in this moment? Okay, what does this collective soul want them to focus on in this moment? Never really over. Lingering energy, soul tie, no closure. All right. So the focus then is I feel like, okay, it's something that wants to end, but you're not letting it go. So let's see why your soul has brought you to this. I feel like, again, if this is your message, you, like when this card came up, you're like, oh, I know exactly what it is that I'm not able to let go of, but I keep trying to. I'm almost getting this feeling of like stuffing it down, as to be like, I'm over this, but you're actually not. So I feel like your soul is bringing you here for some sort of closure. We'll see what comes out with the cards, right? Let me shuffle this a little bit here. All right, let's see. Why did your soul bring you to this message? Why did your soul bring you to this message about this lingering energy? Okay, we have the Three of Pentacles. Interesting. This is interesting because this took a turn that I wasn't expecting. Okay, what I mean by that is the Three of Pentacles to me is combining things together. And with your soul pulling you to this, it's almost like you're not supposed to. Your soul doesn't want you to let go of whatever this other energy was that you are having a difficult time letting go of. It wants you to combine that into where you're going. So again, it might just be something that you're like, I've moved on from this, and you may have moved on from that in the way that you know it, but it's almost as though you're going to be adding a layer on top of it. Are there any examples that are coming through? Um, this is a strange one. This is just an example to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. If this is particularly you, then I would say, this is definitely a message for you. But what's coming through is, if you feel like you've studied astrology, we'll say, and you've studied it in and out, and you kind of feel like you're done with it, and then all of a sudden you learn a different type of astrology, meaning you go from, we'll say, tropical astrology to sidereal astrology. So you're still utilizing astrology because there's something about that essence that isn't leaving you, but it's what you're, like, the direction you're heading and what you're combining it with. Now, it could even be like, and again, I know we're talking about different spiritualities or different theologies, but it almost feels like that too. Maybe you're into astrology and now human design is entering, and it's not about forgetting one, it's about combining the two. taking the parts out of what you really resonated with and moving on with those into this next venture. Okay, let's see what's opening up for you. What direction is opening up for you with this combination? You have the Nine of Wands, which is kind of giving me there's perseverance. It's interesting because I feel like what's opening up when we have the Nine of Wands is that usually talks about or boundaries, um, perseverance to keep pushing through. And it is because you're about to close something out. So I feel like what's opening up is a sort of closure, but it's not a closure in the way that I feel like maybe you've been trying to make it be. Like trying to cut something completely out. And while you are done with that, like the the Nine of Wands is like you're done with this fight. It's the wounded warrior. Like you've made it through. Um, but now you're kind of taking a little break. But with you, I feel like it's you've made it through learning this one thing or in this one idea, and now you're headed in a different direction. Okay, with the nine again, something is closed out. Let's see what is supporting you through this. I feel like it's through this closure. What's supporting you through this closure? We'll take that. We have the Page of Cups. So it does give that feeling of like something new is kind of entered. And again, if this message is for you, you'll know what I'm talking about with the combining of the two things, okay? And for the soul that this message is meant for, this is literally putting pieces of the puzzle together. What I'm sensing here is like it's not a matter of it was like you just didn't realize that you can combine the two or that you can leave parts of what didn't resonate behind and move into something new with the parts that did resonate. So with this, it's like the Page of Cups is experiencing that new feeling and like really getting into it, allowing themselves to do and be whatever they kind of feel like. It's a little bit more of an immature energy, but you need that because the more immature energy is willing to make the mistakes, right? Because they're new at it. And honestly, there's more enthusiasm just to do it than it is to make it perfect, right? That's kind of what happens when we mature, that it's like everything has to be perfect. And typically it's just because of criticism that we don't want to get criticized. So if it's perfect, there's nothing for people to criticize. Um, but this energy is different. So I would say that whatever this new thing is that you're combining with this is already entered, and this is supporting you. And let's see the other card that came out. Oh, the Knight of Cups. That's awesome. So yeah, it's like you already know the direction. The Knight of Cups is like an action card, moving towards that heart. Okay, and then sometimes it's so blind moving towards the heart that they don't really see anything else. But in this way, in this position, this is actually supporting you. There is, like, you can see the shark here. That's why that is here, is because it's like, yes, follow your heart, but still follow that soul path, right? But still notice the things around you. And I feel like for you, almost the shark is the thinking, okay, I'm just going to leave this other thing behind. And it's like, no, actually, you need to take parts of that with you because it's going to benefit you. And I do feel like there's likely a very positive vibe to go towards this new thing. But I do feel like what's stopping you or what may not feel right completely about it is that you're not allowing the parts of the old that resonated to come with you in this new adventure or this new direction. It is feels more resonant to say, or more accurate, I guess. All right, let's see what's coming in to support you further. What's coming in to support this closure in this new direction? What's coming in to support? We have the Nine of Swords. And if we're saying that's coming in to support the closure, I almost feel like, again, for the person this message is for, you've been ruminating on this for a long time and it's actually caused a lot of anxiety. So, with this coming in, though, as something that is actually supporting you, it's it would be this message. It would be this message. Now you don't have to keep thinking about it like, well, what's right, what's wrong, because I do resonate with parts of this, but I don't resonate with all of this. So it's almost like this reading is opening up this part of you that's like, oh, I can do that. And so what I'm noticing more with this Nine of Wands is the bird and the sun coming up over here, as if there's some clarity in direction and clarity in thought for you to head in the direction that you want to. And it feels like it's away from the mind loop. Okay. It's actually gravitating you towards acting and doing. All right. Let's see what clarifies this closure for you or in this direction. You have the Five of Wands. The clarification is, it's like the reason, it's interesting, but it's like the reason that you can't get closure and you keep fighting with it. The clarity with that is because there's parts of that that needs to come along for the ride. It just needs to be focused in a different way. So the Five of Wands, it's it's a good card. Let me explain it. The Four of Wands, we have some stability, right? And we've made so much progress and we move so much in our journey that there's a little bit of a celebration and a homecoming. Okay. And then we go into the five where we had stabilized everything, but now we need to make some changes, right? It's like nothing really stays the same forever. And so with the Five of Wands, there is a little bit of conflict because we're trying to make changes. And it's directing all of that energy towards one common goal. And that's how we get to the Six of Wands, which is that victory and that success and that elevation, so to speak. But it happens because we're focusing all of our energy on the goal and making sure that we reach this. So the clarifier here for the closure isn't, it's to focus on the goal and focus on the things that you can combine together, like these five different women in this picture. If they combine all of their resources and all of their energy towards the same goal, it's going to make it that it's going to amplify that energy and bring it to completion a little bit quicker. So again, this is about you combining these things together to work towards a common goal. All right, let's see what choice unlocks this closure for you. What choice unlocks this closure? We have the moon. It's going down the path even though you're not really sure what you're doing. Okay, the moon always speaks of uncertainty, but it feels more like I know the direction, but I'm not sure where I'm going. And that's okay. With this being the choice that unlocks you, it's just about getting on that path. And that's what you notice here is like we don't really know where this is going. It's nighttime. We don't really know where she's going, but we're moving down the path anyway. So the thing that is going to unlock this closure for you is going down the path. And again, for the person that this is for, you already know what that combination is, right? We've talked about it a lot. All right, let's see what wants to flow through this closure. Six of Wands. When we were talking about that, what wants to flow through this is reaching that goal. It is success. And there's parts too where it feels like the Six of Wands, I'm seeing a different deck where there's somebody on a horse. Um, and it's like you have this higher perspective. So what wants to flow through this is there is going to be some sort of success, but there's also going to be a higher perspective for you coming in. I'm also noticing, I guess it can be dragons, but I'm trying to think of the name. What is it? Salamander, where they can come out of a fire unscathed. And I feel like it's interesting, but the way I'm seeing this for you is walking this path, combining these things. And it's almost like it's never been done before, but what comes out on the other end, like, is, I don't know how to explain this because it's the same salamander, but it feels like like you, I don't know, like walking through that fire, like you realize what you're capable of. And it feels like it just opens up a lot of whatever was limiting you or whatever was holding you back. And I literally mean limiting beliefs. And I say this because sometimes we don't even know what's limiting us because we don't necessarily or aren't exactly conscious of some of the beliefs and ideas that we have thought as true. And then it's like when we see something to the contrary, it's like, boof, all of a sudden these like walls around you are just open, and you're like, that just little tweak made you see something from a completely different perspective and really opened you up to different beliefs. Okay, and that really seems like it wants to flow through you. Okay, let's see. The last, what step is going to anchor this closure? Two of Swords. It's a choice. Yeah, it's just the choice. Stop thinking about it, which we talked about, right? With the Nine of Swords that's actually coming in. Sorry that I hope you can still see. Um, but that's what we talked about with the Nine of Swords coming in to help you. That you're not ruminating on something, that this light, this new perspective is opening up for you. And the Two of Swords is just about choosing to walk through that. So that is what I have for you today. If you felt like the Soul Whisper supported you and you'd like to give back, my Venmo and PayPal are in the description. And until the next Soul Whisper,